Hello YouTube, and welcome back to Trans Travels. So much has happened since the last time that I made a video, so I decided to get one more in before the end of the year to sum everything up. First of all, last month I celebrated my 2-year mark on T. Still cannot grow a mustache, but I feel like the rest of my body makes up for that. My voice has pretty much stayed the same now. It's typically more relaxed in the morning or when I warm up a lot, singing in the car or shower or whatever. So I'll be able to go down to a G or an F sharp too. And for most other parts of the day, an A2 is where most of the comfort lies. As far as the high pitches, I don't venture there very often because it's not a pleasant feeling in my poor vocal cords, but I could still hit a C6 on most days. The musculature that I have now is very different. Still getting used to that feeling, and if I worked it up a little more than I have been doing, because I've been a little bit of a potato, I could probably do a decent push-up or maybe even a pull-up, but that obviously didn't happen this year. My weight is still an issue, and I'm looking into other solutions to help me with that, but otherwise this year has been pretty decent in terms of transitional stuff. It's been shit otherwise, but I've traveled a lot, so let's get to that. Last time you saw me, I was enjoying a trip with my mother and then Ange in DC, and since then, I have been to Portland, Maine, Lincoln, New Hampshire, Wildwood and Kaimai, New Jersey, the Poconos, Massachusetts, Barre, Massachusetts, Dairy Farm, which is kind of by Boston, but not really. It's in the middle of nowhere, but there. Phoenix, Arizona, Glen Jean, West Virginia, Rome, Florence, Pisa, Venice, Burano, Murano, Torcello, and Milan in Italy, St. Moritz in Switzerland, Innsbruck, Oberndorf in Tyrol, and Vienna in Austria, Munich and Frankfurt in Germany, Paris and Disneyland in France, which, Disneyland is Paris, but it's really not in Paris, London in the UK, Syracuse and Buffalo, Naugatuck, Connecticut, and Springfield, Massachusetts. So, quite an extensive list of places. It was definitely the year of traveling for me. So because I suck and didn't make any videos for these, I'm just gonna pick a few of the most memorable places. So typically my family goes to Wildwood and Cape May every year for my birthday, and my dad drives in the 4-hour traffic it takes to get down there that weekend. But seeing as that circumstance has changed, my mom and I decided that we wanted to do something different. So we went in the opposite direction of all the traffic and went up to Maine and New Hampshire. I hadn't been there before, so I got to cross 2 more states off my list. And I have to say, this was probably one of my favorite vacations that we have taken. In Portland, we did a 4th of July fireworks cruise, and I'm a sucker for fireworks. Ate lots of yummy seafood, hit up the beach, checked out some local history, took in some of the art during First Friday, which they do in the downtown area, which is super cool. I think I ingested so much lobster that I started to look like one though, because every day, lobster roll, lobster roll, lobster roll, lobster. But man, those were good. And yeah, we visited an umbrella cover museum.
Here we go. Just let a smile be your umbrella on a rainy, rainy day. And if your sweetie cries, just tell her that a smile will always pay. Whenever skies are gray, don't worry or fret. A smile will bring the sunshine and you'll never get wet. So let a smile be your umbrella on a
interesting.
Interesting.
From Portland, we made the like 5-ish hour trek over to Lincoln, New Hampshire via the Kankamangas Highway, or as locals like to call it, the Kink. To be honest, I knew nothing about New Hampshire, so I literally looked for a state park and there was like, there is where we should go, because there are things around state parks, right? It ended up being the perfect spot. We took a COG, C-O-G, railroad to the top of the White Mountains. Did a little bit of hiking, because my mom's from the city. She's like, I'm a city girl, I'm not hiking. But we did a little bit. Saw the old man in the mountain, flew my drone. Took a tram up to Cannon Mountain, went on a scenic train ride on the Hobo Railroad, and relaxed with our books by the stream in the backyard, which was super nice, and got pretty stuck in some caverns. And we saw moose. First time either of us saw moose. It was super exciting. They were very big. Overall, it was a vacation of food and fun and nature. And on our way back home, we stopped to meet some cousins that I had never met before. Or if I did, it was like when I was 0 and I don't remember. So that was pretty special. They were really nice. Of course, a number of my trips this year have revolved around my Spartan races. Seeing as I completed 2 trifectas this year. I did the Winter Sprint in Ithaca, the Boston Super, which really isn't anywhere close to Boston, and instead on a dairy farm, where the farmers laughed at me for commenting on the mud situation. It was rainy that day, and all that mud definitely wasn't mud. So, it was fun and stinky. The Beast I completed wasn't any better. It was also raining. We had a very rainy Spartan season this year. But it was beautiful and sunny and warm at the start of the race, and then it decided to drop 20 degrees and throw a tornado into the mix when I was at the top of the mountain, so yeah, that was fun. And by fun, I mean I never felt closer to death. The other 4 races I did were much less dramatic. I was going to do 3 trifectas, but then money, lol. So I ended up doing 2 more sprints, one in DC, which was really Maryland, and the other in Tuxedo, New York. Did the Beast in West Virginia, which is always a great race, and made some more friends who stuck with the entire way as they raced with one of the team members blindfolded, as if a Spartan Beast isn't hard enough, you do it blindfolded. But they were raising money for this other blind athlete, so that was really cool. And then I earned my double trifecta at the Super in Oberndorf, Austria, where I came in dead last. I had been told the race started earlier than it did, and when I got my time, I was like, oh no, I'm not going to finish. And then the lady said, oh, you'll have plenty of time, don't worry. The funny thing was I got to experience what being the last racer to cross the finish line felt like. And although it was kind of embarrassing, it was also really cool because literally everyone in the entire area was at the end rooting for you. And with me were some really nice Spartan big people that helped me complete the obstacles. So yeah. And they announced my name over the loudspeaker, which like my Airbnb host heard from the house a mile away. So I'm famous now, okay guys? Also still waiting for those pictures. So my Spartan year was definitely an adventurous one, so much so that I decided to plan an entire Europe trip around this race. It went something like this. Oh wow, a Spartan race in Austria. That's kind of close to rain. I could totally make a thing of this. Maybe we can just go to Paris too. Find out Becca's working in Paris. Yep, okay, I'm going to Paris. Cool, okay, so that Austria, Germany, Paris, then I look at my map. Well, I see Italy is kind of close. I mean, while I'm over there, I might as well go over to Italy. Maybe just Milan. Ugh, if I'm going to Italy, I might as well just do the whole thing. Okay, well, I could go from Venice to Austria, or I could go up through that little country up there. What is that? Oh, that's Switzerland. I can go through Milan to Switzerland. Oh, I do love mountains. Oh, look, there's a scenic train ride. Let's do that. Okay, how can I be in Austria without going to Vienna? Ugh, okay, I'll make a side trip. That makes the trip to Frankfurt a little longer. What's in the middle? Oh, Munich. I can stop there. I haven't been there yet. Okay, I think that's it. Oh man, but Paris is so close to the UK. I could just hop over to London. Yeah, yep, doing that. Okay, that's really it. And that's how I booked my Europe trip. So about that trip. My friend Ange was nice enough to drive me to the airport, and I was so excited until about 5 minutes from getting there when I realized my flight was the day before. Yep. Missed my flight because my dumbass thought it was the 28th instead of the 27th. To my defense, though, United did not send an early check-in notification, which they usually do, because it was a points flight, so apparently that's not a thing. But I got the next available flight out of there, and it only cost me like $100 more than what I originally paid, so it was not the end of the world. I decided not to dwell on it because I was still going to Europe for a month. But what a way to start. And then, because I decided to trust some asshole in some lounge that said I was at this platform, I missed the train, the first train from Rome to Florence, because he told me the wrong platform. So, as I was getting to the right platform that I had found out, I saw the train just slowly driving away while I was waving at it and crying. No, I wasn't crying, but it was annoying, and I had to buy a new ticket. Oh, and by this time, my luggage handle already had snapped, so that was going super well. At least I knew I was going to get an arm workout for the rest of my trip, which I did. But after that, the rest of my trip ended up going very smoothly. A little Abenteuer to start the vacation, I suppose. So Italy was just everything I imagined and so much more. The history and architecture of Rome, the hospitality and wine of Florence, and the bright colors of Burano, the canals of Venice, and the excitement of Milan were experiences I will never forget. Or if I do, I will have pictures so I don't forget them. Instead of being boring and flying to Oberndorf or taking a normal train, I decided to take the scenic route through the Swiss Alps. And it was a sight that I had visioned many times and literally watched come to life right before my eyes. And somehow I thought, wow, this is a great time to make a phone call. I should have service, right guys, right? It's only mountains. Yeah, that went well. About 10 dropped calls later, I gave up and just enjoyed the rest of the trip while taking about 2,000 photos that I had to sift through. When people tell you Switzerland is expensive, you might be drawn to think of a place like New York or LA. You know, not even in New York am I going to pay $45 or francs for a burger and fries. It was a damn good burger, but now I know why St. Moritz is a ski resort town for the rich folk that don't include me. My 2 days there were about all I could afford. Also, they speak this weird combination of German, Swiss, and Italian. Forget trying to understand anything that was going on. But still, Switzerland was definitely a highlight of my trip. The reason I started this trip, in the first place, Oberndorf in Tyrol, Austria, ended up being a nice rest from the country-to-country traveling I had been doing the past couple of days. I had the best Austrian grandma as a host, and I still was surrounded by pretty awesome views of the mountains. After the race, I headed towards Vienna, where I met my dad's best friend who traveled 3 hours just to have lunch with me from Graz. So, yeah, he's a pretty awesome guy. Him and his brother. From Austria, I went on to Munich and did a whole lot of nothing. Because I was tired from that race, so basically I hung out in a park with a river surfer. I went to Dachau one day. That was a much needed low-key visit to a new city before meeting up with the bestie in Frankfurt. This was my 4th time there, so like, I felt like I was a regular now. So from Germany, I went to France, and I had been in France before. Creamy food that hates me, people with equal feelings about Americans, I don't blame you. And a lot of spit talk. I definitely did not think I would enjoy Paris as much as I did. But one of my friends from high school was able to join me, so that added to my enjoyment.
Mel eating his snail the proper way, not sucking it out like he usually does. Oh, there it is. Is it delicious?
It's really good.
The verdict. You can use the tongue and fork to dissect this snail.
But I found Paris to be full of excitement. Also, like, every club owner tried to get me to enter their strip club, and a hooker even tried to pick me up. I was like, thanks, but I don't think I have the parts you're looking for, so bye. And Disneyland. I have now been to 3 of the Disneys, so next stop, Tokyo, right? Just kidding, but like, maybe I'll get there one day. My last stop on this trip, and a bit of an add-on at the last moment, as you heard in my brain process before. That was to London, and I didn't really know much about what there was to do in London except Queenie stuff, so I figured I would like visit the palace, maybe go to Stonehenge and other tourist things. But when I got to London and I found myself in Trafalgar Square, which by the way has trans, gay, and lesbian, and I mean straight people too, stoplights, so like the green flashes in like the female male symbol, and like the, yeah, I don't know what that was trying to do, but you get what I'm saying. So that was really cool. I ran into the design festival, and so I spent the next couple days mapping out every exhibition I could hit in my limited time, from like very early in the morning until all the exhibits closed. So I got to know London really, really well. I got to know it so well that I was able to give this woman directions on the metro, which they call the Tube, and they were correct. That's how much I was traveling on the Tube. My favorite part of the whole city had to be Paddington Station, which is also called Little Venice because of the canals that are there. It's a bit removed from the rest of the hustle and bustle, and was always pretty quiet whenever I ended up there, which ended up being pretty late at night, so that probably has something to do with it, but it was really nice. It was just a great place to end the night, going for a walk when it wasn't raining, which it did a lot because London. Anyway, this trip was definitely one for the books. I don't know when I'll be able to do another one like it, but I can't wait to plan my next adventure. As always, just getting out there and experiencing all these other cultures and places is what I'm living for. So until next time, thanks for watching Trans Travels, and you have a happy new year.